Now you will be encountering another concept time and again in different themes of economics, that is income offer curves and angel curves with different names under different themes. Like in international trade it will be offer curves. In environmental economics also you will be having different terminologies, but the fundamentals remain same. So what is the key intuition? What are income offer curves and what are angel curves? Now basically we are trying to understand that how our change in income affects our demand, right? So consider a budget line AB and two commodity space X1 and X2. What happens is, say for example, a consumer was at the budget line AB initially and the optimal point was at point P. I mean the optimal consumption point was at point B, where your indifference curve IC1 was tangent to this budget line, so P was the optimal consumption point, and corresponding to this you were consuming X1 and X2 naught and X1 naught quantity of commodities. What happened over the time is that, say the consumer's income went up from A B to A prime B prime. Now on the new budget line, what happens that the indifference curve 2 is tangent here, so the optimal bundle will be somewhere here. So at this point Q, your budget line shifted and the corresponding indifference curve which was tangent here, which satisfies the optimality condition, so this is at Q. And likewise, if there is a further shift in the income, say for example it is somewhere here, if it's going to be tangent to the third budget line, so we will be having another point like say for example R, okay, which will be again the optimal point. Now what income offer curve tells us is the locus of combination of these optimal points at different income levels. At point P we had the commodity X1 not being consumed corresponding to income or budget line AB. At point Q we had the budget line shifted to A prime B prime, and corresponding to which the commodity consumed is different, right, for both X1 and X2. And likewise for point like P, Q and R as well, this is R. So your combination of X1 and X2 has changed and increased actually, right? So this locus of combination of these optimal points, this is known as what we call as income offer curve. Okay, now what is angel curve? Now angel curve is essentially the locus of combination of the points. When we are here, you are looking in a two commodity space, right? On this axis it's one commodity and this is the other commodity, and these are the income line or the budget lines, and this is the indifference curve. Now in the angel curve we are essentially looking at one commodity, that how with the change in the income the consumption of commodity changed. Okay, say for example we were at the budget line AB. Okay, our income was, say for example 100 at the budget line AB, and corresponding to that we were consuming 20 units of X1. When the budget line increased or shifted to A prime B prime, the income went up, say for example 150. So corresponding to that the commodity consumed, that is X1, increased to, say for example 40 units. And if the budget line shifted further rightward, that is at point R, our income increased further, it can be 200 also, so this again increased. So the locus of the combination of these points for a single commodity across income when we are plotting, that is basically what the angel curve gives us. So both these curves, if you observe, what they are telling us essentially is that how your demand is changing as your income is changing, right? This is the demand for X1, how this is changing as your income is changing, right? And likewise in this case also your income was changing and corresponding to which the demand is changing, right? These bundles have different composition of X1 and X2 commodities. So this is about the income offer curves and the angel curves. Now let us look at the preferences, because we have been discussing since the beginning the different type of preference maps which are there, consumer preferences. And now let's see that how to go about understanding these income offer curves using those preferences. Now for the case of perfect substitutes, let us assume that a consumer has a preference ordering in such a way that if for these two commodities the prices are P1 and P2 respectively for X1 and X2, okay, these two prices are there, and it is already given, okay, so we are assuming that price of one commodity 1, that is X1, is less than that of price of the commodity 2. So what that means is that the consumer, he is specialized in consuming good 1, X1, okay, so he is specialized in consuming good 1, and if the income is going to increase, he is going to prefer this commodity, right? Because it makes sense that you among these two commodities, if they are perfect substitutes and one of them is cheaper, the consumer will definitely prefer a cheaper one because it's a perfect substitute, right? So if the price of X1 is less than that of X2 at any point which is above this budget line, this was the initial budget line, and the income now is going to go up. At any point wherever the income is going to go up, okay, so it's always going to be the case that the consumer will be preferring choosing purely X1. So he's always going to stay, he or she is always going to stay on this budget line, right? Because this points on this budget line, what do they imply? They imply that the consumption of X1 is there, comma, 0 is going to be there for the Y component, that is your X2. X2 consumption is always going to be 0. At any point beyond this budget line, any increase in income, if M increases, it implies that consumption of X1 increases and X2 equals 0, any point beyond this, right? And if I talk about the income offer curve, where it is, so the income offer curve is essentially coinciding on this line because the locus of the optimal bundles. So beyond this point, because these are perfect substitutes and this commodity is cheaper, your income offer curve, your optimal bundles are always going to lie on this budget line. I mean along this line. So like we had P, Q, R and S, so they will be along this line. So this is what it essentially implies. And if we are to look into that, how the Engel curve would look like, so let us observe. Now we know that the slope of this budget line is going to be P1, right? For the budget line given as M equals to functions of P1 X1 plus P2 X2, and if this is going to be a perfect substitute and this price is less than this, so our our slope of this budget line is going to be P1, right? So this is going to be P1. Now what happens when we try to understand that how much change is going to be for X1 demand when your income is going to change? Now income offer curve told us that okay, the consumer's demand across these two commodities will be in a way that any increase in income, okay, will result in the consumption of X1 commodity and X2 won't be consumed because they are perfect substitutes. On the Engel curve, if we try to understand the impact on the demand for X1 due to change in the income, so it can be plotted as follows. So as the income increased, you can observe from here, as the income increased, okay, what happened is that consumption of X1 keeps on going up as your income increases. This is M1, this is M2, so your consumption of X1 is also going to go up, X0 prime to X1 prime. So this is what the case is for the perfect substitutes. Now perfect complements, we know that a consumer is always going to consume both the goods in same proportion. So this assumption we don't need for this case. Yeah, so for perfect complements, we know that for example, let's take the case of a pair of shoes. pair of shoes, or if you are buying a car, you need fuel, right? So any automobile and fuel. So these are complements, right? So I mean, you cannot think of these things working independently or of any use independently, right? So for perfect complements, if your income is going to increase, M increase implies, say for example, this is x1, this is x2, and for pair of shoes, your left shoe is x1 and right shoe is x2 commodity. So obviously, when your income is going to increase, they both have to be consumed in same proportion, right? So both x1 and x2 will be demanded in same proportion. So both increase in same by same proportion. Right, and this is what we can observe. So these are the indifference curve or preference mapping for the perfect complements, if you remember from our previous discussions. So this is IC1, this is IC2, this is IC3 for perfect complements, and this is, for example, the initial budget line AB, and you witnessed an increase in the income. As a result, there was a shift from point P to point Q, which means that your consumption of both the commodities increased by same proportion. Your x1 prime is going to be yeah, from x0 prime to x1 prime, the increase will be equal to that of x2 naught to x2 prime, right? So it will be in the same proportion. So this is how your demand for x and x1 and x2 is getting affected in case of perfect complements, that both are going to witness a same increase, proportionate increase along the income of a curve. That is, your point P and point Q is going to increase proportionately in the income of a curve. Now in case of the Engel curve, what happens? So in case of Engel curve, we know that we are going to understand it across a single commodity. You can take x2 also here. So let us say for x1, we are observing that how the demand for x1 changes as your income is going to increase. So like we observed here, when your income increased, what happened is that the proportionate increase was there in the consumption of both the commodities. So for x1, what happened when your income increased to this point, your consumption of x1 actually increased. So likewise, if income was m1 and it went up to a point like m2, it went up. The consumption of x1 went up from x0 to x0 prime, right? So this is what the Engel curve is telling us here in case of perfect complements. Now another set of preferences is the Cobb-Douglas preferences, which we have discussed already, and generally they are given in the form of a function. Say for example, function of x1 and x2, because we are considering two commodities, so a function of x and x2 such that it's given as alpha 1 minus alpha, because yeah, so it's given in this form, right? So this is the Cobb-Douglas utility function, and the preference mapping for this is, these are the indifference curves corresponding to this function, and these are the budget lines AB. I mean, this is the initial budget line with the optimal bundle at point P, and with the increase in income, what happens is this is the new budget line A prime B prime, which is marked in black, and the optimal point corresponding to this new budget line will be point Q. Okay, and the income offer curve will be the combination of the optimal bundle when your income was AB and the point Q, which is optimal bundle when your income increased to A prime B prime, right? This budget line is highlighting the same, and this is how we get the income offer curve for the Cobb-Douglas preferences. You can revisit these preferences, I mean how they are represented, how we get this kind of graph in the previous videos. And now what about the Engel curve? Again, we get the slope from this function by simply taking the derivative of this function, right, and taking the ratio of these basically marginal utilities if this is a utility function, and the slopes comes out to be P1 upon A, given that your budget line is M as a function of P1 x1 plus P2 x2, and your utility function was x1, A means alpha here, okay, x1 A x2 1 minus a. So from these two we can easily get the utility function, right? And if you don't remember or not able to recall, I request you to revisit that how to go about deriving the slope from this, I mean based on the approach which we have already discussed. So what about the Engel curve? So the Engel curve, if we can observe here that when the income increased, we moved from point P to Q, and corresponding to which we can observe what happened to the demand for X1. What happened to the demand for X1 is that the demand for X1 increased from point X0 to X0 prime, right? And for X2, if we take the point X02, it went up to X0 2 yeah, X1 2, let's say. Okay, so this was the change. It increased for both, right? So this is what we are observing, and for X1 only, when we are plotting it against income, this is what the Engel curve is, right? So again, an upward sloping graph we are getting, right? Which is essentially telling us that as the income is going up, your consumption for X1 is also going up. So this is about the Cobb-Douglas preferences.